Today I have The Little Red Riding Hood, written and illustrated by Ed Bryan. So this book is about a little girl going to visit her grandmother. Something is waiting for her when she gets there that she would have never expected. Let's read and find out what happens. The Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a kind and helpful girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She lived with her mother in a cottage at the edge of the forest. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Oh, Little Red Riding Hood, your grandmother isn't feeling well. Would you please take her a basket of food?" Soon the basket was packed and the Little Red Riding Hood was ready to go. Little Red Riding Hood was leaving. Her mother gave her a warning. "Be careful in the forest and beware of the big bad wolf," she said. And the Little Red Riding Hood went on her way. She had not gone very far before the big bad wolf appeared, which means came. The big bad wolf came. "Hello, little girl," said the wolf. "Where are you going?" "Oh, just on my way to my grandmother's with this basket of food," said Little Red Riding Hood, and off she went. Little Red Riding Hood soon came to a clearing in the forest filled with flowers. "How pretty," said Little Red Riding Hood. She knew that her grandmother loved daisies, and she picked some and put them in her basket. Then she continued on her way. Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the forest until she came to a big oak tree. "Oh, look," she said, "what lovely acorns. I'll put some in my basket. You never know when they might come in handy." Handy also means helpful or useful. With the flowers and the acorn in her basket, Little Red Riding Hood continued on her way. Little Red Riding Hood wandered along, and wandered means walked or went by. She was strolling. She was strolling along, and by she came across a bear with a huge pot of honey. "Hello," said the bear. "Can you help me pour this honey into my jars? You can take a jar with you if you do." So the Little Red Riding Hood stopped to help the bear. Then, with the flowers, the acorn, and the honey in her basket, Little Red Riding Hood skipped off through the trees. Finally, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at her grandmother's. "Hello, Grandma," she called. "I'm in here with a basket full of nice things." "I'm in bed, my dear," called a voice through the door. It was quite dark inside the cottage, but Little Red Riding Hood thought her grandmother looked a little bit different. "Oh, Grandma, what big ears you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, the better to hear you with, my dear," came the reply. "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, the better to see you with, my dear," came the reply. "Oh, Grandma, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, the better to eat you with, my dear," said the big bad wolf. "He's been disguised as Grandma all along." Disguised means looking like something or someone else. In this case, the big bad wolf was disguised as Grandma, so he looked like Grandma. And then with all that, the wolf jumped out of the bed and chased Little Red Riding Hood around the room. Quickly, Little Red Riding Hood reached into her basket. She took out the flowers and waved through under the wolf's nose. The wolf sneezed and sneezed and sneezed, but that didn't stop him for long. So Little Red Riding Hood reached into her basket again. She pulled out some acorn and threw them on the floor. The wolf skid and slipped and skated all over, but that didn't stop him either. So Little Red Riding Hood reached into her basket for the last time. She took out the jar of honey and threw it all over the big bad wolf. "Yuck! I'm covered in sticky honey," yelled the wolf. "Just you wait and see what happens next," said Little Red Riding Hood. The sticky honey smelled so delicious that a swarm of bees flew in through the window and chased the wolf out the door. The big bad wolf ran down the road and was never, ever seen again. As soon as the big bad wolf was gone, Little Red Riding Hood unlocked the cupboard, or the closet. So you see Grandma's in the closet over here. And out jumped Grandma. Little Red Riding Hood laid out the delicious food from her basket, and she and her grandma had a wonderful feast, and they were both lived happily ever after. So that was the Little Red Riding Hood book. Some questions I have is, what do you think would have happened if Little Red Riding Hood didn't gather the flowers, the acorn, or the honey? My thinking is that she probably was going to be eaten by the big bad wolf, because those things were to help run the big bad wolf away. Another question is, if you were the big bad wolf, how would you disguise yourself to be Grandma? And remember, disguised means looking like or something else. And I would have probably used a mask or something so she couldn't see the facial features of the big bad wolf. Thank you.